Let's talk quarterback. Sean
surprised.
King brought up the Jameis Winston situation a second ago, and I'm curious, guys. We saw Joe Flacco come in last year and lead the Browns to a 4-1 record down the stretch. He threw for a bunch of yards, turned the ball over a lot, but the offense looked at a level we hadn't seen it prior. Do you think Jameis Winston, and now you have to add in the factor that Ken Dorsey will be calling plays, does he possibly have a Joe Flacco-esque run on him here? Not necessarily to win and lead the Browns to the playoffs, but a resurgence of the offense in a similar fashion what we saw from Joe last year?
I think it's possible, but unlikely. You don't have Amari Cooper. And I know he wasn't off to a great start, but now you can say, well, you have Nick Chubb, but Nick Chubb is not Nick Chubb right now. I mean, he may get there, hopefully, but he's not at the moment. And your offensive line is not what it was last year. And so I just don't see on the offense right now enough talent around him for him to play at that level. And again, Joe wasn't without his flaws. There were too many turnovers. But
he'll have moments, Bull. He'll have moments where we're like, wow, that's the old
interesting about Jameis is, obviously in Tampa, he was a turnover machine. Threw for a ton of yards, but he threw a ton of interceptions. And then that one stretch of like 5-6 games he played in New Orleans, he played really well, and he didn't turn the ball over. But he was much more conservative. He wasn't throwing the ball down the field as much. I don't know what he is now. He's barely played the last
That's
few
why
years.
I asked Sean, who has a personal relationship with him, was the Tampa experience, and I didn't think of it along these lines, but he made a great comparison. Yeah. I think Tampa was to Jameis what Cleveland and perhaps Carolina were to Baker Mayfield.
It could be.
Baker, I think he was helped immensely by being with Sean McVay. I really do. Sean McVay has a pair of eyes that the people that play that position feel smarter when they're being coached by Sean McVay. And I think there's something to that. I don't know if it was something Sean said. I don't know if it was just an epiphany where Baker woke up and said, I'm going to throw myself right out of the league. Now, look, Baker still has the propensity to throw the pick. He did it 2 weeks ago. He did it Thursday night.
Yeah.
Or Monday night, rather. But I do think there is a level of maturity that he has gone through. Maybe Jameis has gone through the same thing, because it did look like he had matured in New Orleans.
No doubt. I will say that Baker, from a talent around him standpoint, went into a perfect situation.
Perfect.
Because he had Godwin and Evans.
Right. He doesn't have much of a running game. He doesn't have much of a running game, but he had
fair, but
Pro Bowl caliber wide receivers.
Right, but right now,
and they're gone now.
Again, we assume it's going to get better. At the moment, the Browns don't have much of a running game either. At the moment.
They don't.
The promotion, like, this organization's got plenty of things wrong, right? I'm not saying that they know everything there is to know. But the promotion last week of Dorian to number 2 and Jameis to number 3, that was not a 1 week thing. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care whatever report they come up with now. I'm telling you, it was not a 1 week thing. Dorian was moving forward as the number 2 quarterback on this team into the future. And had he not gotten hurt, that's who would be under center on Sunday. So
the reason you think for that was either to find out what he has, or if you're going to lose, you might as well lose big and get a draft pick.
I think that they don't look, as we sit here today on October 23rd, I don't think they look at Jameis as the future of this team.
Right.
And they were actively trying to trade him.
He could change their minds.
He could change their minds.
Look, he's 10 years younger than Joe Flacco.
He could change their minds. As we sit here today on October 23rd at 12:30, they were trying to trade him at cutdown day. Like they were going to move forward.
I had heard that as well.
They were going to move forward with Deshaun and with Dorian. And now you come into this week or last week, and they're promoting Dorian number 2 and they're dropping to Jameis number 3. They're telling you, without telling you, they do not believe Jameis Winston is the answer going forward. He could change their mind. He's got apparently 10 weeks to do it now, or however many, because this DTR finger thing sounds like it's fairly serious, or he's gonna miss multiple weeks with it.
If he can't grip the football now, it's probably a couple
Bailey
weeks.
Zappi's your backup.
Can I read the injury update real quick, just so everyone's 100% clear on it, in case there's any confusion? But Mary Kay tweeted out that the MRI came back negative. However, he's dealing with serious pain and cannot currently grip a football. And obviously, as a quarterback, if you can't grip a football,
you can't throw a football.
It is pretty hard to play. So there's no timetable.
Go ahead.
There's no timetable.
And in very, very, very limited time now, he's had a concussion, a dislocated hip, and now the finger.
Yeah.
If you can't be on the field, you can't be the quarterback. So maybe that's the answer. Yeah. Maybe that's the answer.
By the way, yesterday we were discussing, Tyvis G and I, will Bailey Zappi play for the Browns? And Tyvis said no, and G and I were like, have you not been watching this team?
Well, at some point, he's going to have to
he's
play.
the backup already.
Yeah, I mean, that's what backups do in Cleveland.
I mean,
Bailey Zappi is shorter than me.
Is he really?
Yes.
but as we mentioned yesterday,
Eye to eye at best.
oh, he's not any good, but remember that game against
He
the
tore
Browns
them
2
up
years
here.
ago? He
Torched
killed them.
us.
Tore
He's
them up
listed
here.
at 6'2".
Trust me when I tell you.
Yeah.
We are eye to eye.
Wow.
He
I'm
is.
surprised
He's
by
like
that.
5'3", so that's crazy.
I'm not 5'3".
5'3".
It's a low blow. Coming from someone who is 5'3".
He is.
I know. Me
He,
and Jason, the 5'3" tandem.
he is. Bailey Zappi is little guy, very little.
All right.
So
Russell
whatever that's
Wilson's
worth.
also tiny in terms of height. But some players can make up for it with immense talent elsewhere in their games. I'm not quite sure Bailey Zappi has.
They have him listed
Yeah.
at 6'2".
That's
Yeah, I swear to
crazy.
goodness, I just looked.
Somebody should be arrested for that. That's a felony.
You know, I thought after the combine, when everybody was electronically measured and weighed, that those digits didn't change anymore.
We'll go back.
ESPN has him at 6'1", 220.
That's absolutely not true.
Why were you this close to Bailey Zappi?
He was here.
When they played, he threw 300 yards and 2 touchdowns against the Browns 2 years ago.
No, I know, but that was a while ago. For you to remember it so distinctly.
Because when you come across a quarterback who's your size, you don't
Yeah.
forget.
All right, fair enough. I had
Any
that
other
experience
thoughts
too
on-
with the hefty lefty Jared Lorenzen.
Yeah, there you go. Kentucky.
Yeah.
Any
Rest
other
in
thoughts
peace.
on the quarterbacks before we
R.I.P.
pivot to some Guardians here to wrap up the show? Jameis started. We'll dive more into it. We'll have a Sean King breakdown on Jameis on Friday. Anything else?
No.
Okay.
What else is there to say?